Hello and welcome to Online PTE. My name is Alistair, and this session we will be focusing on Module 1, Speaking, and Task 2, Repeat Sentence. So have you got pen and paper ready? Have you downloaded your lecture notes? If so, let's begin. So repeat sentence. You have to repeat each sentence within 2 seconds after hearing it and repeat it exactly as you hear it. Now in PTE, for all your speaking, you're assessed on enabling skills. So enabling skills for speaking are oral fluency, pronunciation, and they're the main two, the most important, and following that, grammar and vocabulary. So for all of repeat sentence, you're being assessed on those enabling skills. We teach basics of speech. And this is something you should be thinking about. First of all, pronunciation. Obviously very important in your speaking. Emphasis or stress. I'll talk about these in a moment. Intonation. Volume. And have I missed any? And pace and speed of your speech. Okay, so they are the basics that you need to be focusing on when you're doing any speaking in PTE. The clearer you speak, the better your score will be. Now, one thing before you do, we have a look at these in a bit more detail. One thing you do need to be aware of is that the jaw muscles are the tensest muscles in the body. So it's really important, and when I do any public speaking, I always warm up my jaw muscles. So it's maybe something you want to have a go at now. And it doesn't matter how silly you look, because the computer doesn't mind. All you want to do is get these jaw muscles nice and loose, and then get your mouth, your lips, your teeth, your tongue all working together. And if you do that, you can articulate. And articulating is where you are precise with your speech. And that's a really important part of PTE. So pronunciation, obviously the sounds that you make. Now, particularly the endings of words are important, and we'll talk about that as well in other modules, particularly with read aloud. So the endings of words are very important. Emphasis or stress, where you put more importance on certain sounds or certain words within a sentence. Intonation is how your voice goes up and down. So the intonation of your voice is really important. Now, we use intonation in English to express meaning, to express interest, and the more energy you can apply to your speaking, the better your intonation will be. So we need to vary your tone. The volume is important. You do not need to shout in PTE. A nice strong voice and projecting your voice towards the screen is really important. And then the pace or the speed of your speech. And varying your pace should go from your normal controlled pace, not too quick, to slow. And as you slow, you emphasize and stress certain words and certain sounds. So slowing down and then your normal pace. Never make it too quick. And it's important with volume is to speak to the end of the sentence, okay? And another one or two things, big mistakes a lot of students make with their speaking is they don't practice at home. Like anything that we do here at Turner English, you've got to apply the tips and the strategies to home practice. A lot of students will say to me, well, I've nobody to talk to. That is not an excuse. At the very least, you can talk to your phone. The software on phones now is amazing, and either with an Android or an iPhone device, you can record your voice. A voice memo will tell you exactly what you say. So one suggestion I make, I don't have a chair with me, but if I would sit about screen level, put my phone about 3 meters away, stand it up and put it on voice record, project towards the phone, and if it picks up what you're saying, the volume and projection is fine. So think about that, another way in which you can practice in your own time. Okay, we've got some other ideas about resources and such like, but let's start with some repeating sentence practice. Now, there are some students who feel that repeating sentences is a slightly unfair part of the test because you do have to memorize what you're saying. So how are you going to do that? The sentences are about 6 to 7 seconds long, about 10 to 11 words. Some are shorter, some are slightly longer. We've looked at those enabling skills and those basics of speech, so let's just take those off for a moment. And we're actually going to look at the first sentence, so you'll see the first sentence and then we'll just consider that one. Okay, so that's the first sentence. Obviously you can see now, but also we're working on today. Please come to the next seminar properly prepared. Now it's important that you get the start of the sentence. If you get the start of the sentence, you've got a good chance of getting all of it. So we talk about working in sense groups, meaningful groups. So with this sentence, what I would say is that the first sense group is 2/3 of the sentence, and that ends there. So please come to the next seminar. So you hear that, you've got used to the person's accent, you repeat that, and then properly prepared is where your short-term memory kicks in and you remember the rest of the sentence. Now you are trying to copy the speaker's intonation and the speaker's emphasis and obviously the speaker's pronunciation, but you're speaking in your own voice. You're not trying to copy their accent. Okay, so let's just have a go at the first sentence, and I'm going to say it. You can see it on the board, and I want you to repeat that in your own time. Please come to the next seminar properly prepared. Okay, how did you go? You can see it. Did you get all of the words out? Hopefully a little bit better than I did. Did you hear the endings of words? Did you emphasize? Did you intonate? And think about this sense group. So the next sentence I'm going to read out. There isn't time to write down the words that you hear, but don't rush the sentence. It's important that you keep a nice controlled pace and think about the next sentence and the sense groups. Okay, all right, let's have a go on the next sentence. Okay, number 2, you'll find the economics section on the 2nd floor of the library. Okay, and I'm going to get you to write that sentence down. And of course, as you're writing the sentence down, gives you a little bit of practice at write from dictation, which is also a PTE task. Okay, looking at that sentence again, and I'll say it again, I'll get you to repeat it. You'll find the economics section on the 2nd floor of the library. Now think about what we talked about with the first sentence. So the sense groups for sentence number 2, you'll find the economics section on the 2nd floor of the library. So you're focusing on the first 5 words, and then the short-term memory kicks in to remember on the 2nd floor of the library. Okay? All right, let's try number 3. Next time, we'll discuss the influence of the media on public policy. So you have to speak within 3 seconds. If you delay longer than that, the screen will cut out and you have to move on to the next sentence. So it's about a couple of beats, so you get used to the accent, you're focusing on those sense groups, and then you move on to the next sentence. Okay, number 4. There is plenty of cheap accommodation off campus. Okay, so now, are you thinking about your intonation? Are you thinking about emphasis? Are you thinking about pace? Are you maintaining good volume and good projection and keeping that volume going to the end of the sentence? Number 5. The lecture on child psychology has been postponed until Friday. Now, you're asking yourself where the sense group finished there. It finished after the word psychology. The lecture on child psychology has been postponed until Friday. So that sense group is really important. It's obviously not a full sentence, but it's a meaningful group of words. Number 6. The meeting will take place in the main auditorium. And I'm going to get you to write that one down as well. So I'll just repeat that. Number 6. The meeting will take place in the main auditorium. Maybe just play that back to yourself verbally. And of course, getting this home practice in is really important because you will continue to practice at home, which some of our day students, I suspect, don't. Okay. Number 7, you must establish a day and a time with your tutor. There are 11 words to that sentence, and again the sense group was a little bit later in the sentence. Listen to that one again, I'll get you to practice it. You must establish a day and a time with your tutor. Okay, 3 to go. Number 8. There will be no extensions given for this project. And number 9. New timetables will be posted on the student notice board. And finally, number 10. All students are encouraged to vote in the forthcoming elections. So, how did you go? So I say writing those sentences down helps you with write from dictation, and the pronunciation. Now generally pronunciation is something you need to be aware of. Your own pronunciation won't change an awful lot unless you practice on a particular sound. So that's why when we talked about pronunciation earlier, we talked about the endings of words being important. So looking at number 10, all students are encouraged to vote in the forthcoming elections. So students, do we hear the S at the end of that word? With the same as the last word, elections. What's the last sound that is made in each word? It makes you think about articulating that we talked about previously. So before we started repeating the sentences, I talked about practicing at home, 3 meters away. Put your phone at about screen level, put it on record or voice memo, and project your voice towards your phone. If it picks it up, then you're fine. 1 or 2 other ideas for you to think about. We use TED, www.ted.com, which is an excellent resource on the web. It's been around for over 30 years, has some fantastic material on it. Lecture with vocabulary and content, actually generally higher than you'll get in listening for PTE. So it's really good to challenge yourself with a TED lecture that you enjoy. So think about going to the website, the internet, and checking out TED.com. Find a lecture that you are interested in. If you enjoy it, you'll learn a lot more. and in fact there are several parts of PTE that you can benefit directly from using the TED website. I'll just pop those on the board. So www.ted.com. It can help you with the repeat sentence. Now the sentences are not split into 6 or 7 seconds that we've just been doing, but you can pause after 6, 7, 8 seconds. Can you repeat what the person has just said? Write from dictation. Retell lecture, another part of the speaking component. Summarize spoken text. So those 4 can directly you can directly benefit by using the TED website, and as I say, it's a great resource for you to consider using. Okay, so we'll finish with just looking at a couple of more sentences. I'm going to get you to read out 2 more sentences that you've heard already, but they are random. Practice them, think about those sense groups, and all about those basics of your speech. Okay, so 2 to finish off with. There is plenty of cheap accommodation off campus. And the last one for today, all students are encouraged to vote in the forthcoming elections. So remember, consistency, perseverance, persistence are really important. Practice, practice, practice as much as you can. Make sure you keep up with your lecture notes, get your homework in time. Your teachers are waiting for you. Bye for now.